An errant is an individual that can move freely from basically from protocol to protocol. There is nothing that can govern the errant. An errant is a piece of a problem to artificial intelligence X. The reason an errant is a problem is because dungeon programming and negative default programming don't seem to be able to have any power to influence the errant. Now, before I go into errants, artificial intelligence X is a parasite. But in order for artificial intelligence X to do things ubiquitously and to operate against the human family so well, it requires a medium. That medium is the simulacrum. So we have an understanding of definitions here, so I don't lose you. The simulacrum is a neutral field. It is the construct that you're living in itself. It does not care about good or evil. It doesn't care about moral decisions. It doesn't give a damn about the wolf rending the rabbit. It doesn't even concern itself with. It is a fixed medium that absolutely produces phenomena in accordance to what you project. It will mirror for you as physical circumstances the very things that you project from within. And this is what it does. And it's very good at what it does. It has no fixed agenda. It's not even alive. It is basically a construct. The simulacrum is, I theorize, now this is totally conjectural, I theorize in my videos that there are probably multitudes of simulacrums. This one got locked down because something went wrong, but there's probably multiple simulacrums because these are the perfect way that immortal spirits can actually have temporal memory loss and enjoy lifetimes as different characters and avatars and be able to learn, to love, to die, to do all kinds of things, and then it will feel 100% real while they're in the simulacrum. But as soon as they're jacked back out and no longer connected by the central nervous system, they instantly wake up on the outside of the construct where we're from. Remember, we are pilgrims here. We are aliens here. This isn't our home, never has been. We got trapped here. It is also my belief we volunteered. Now, inside the simulacrum, where we were able to develop, we were able to do all kinds of things that on the outside, immortal beings can't do. There's nothing that an immortal being can fear. So these simulacrums were designed, I believe, in the ancient past. I believe they're absolutely far more technologically sophisticated than anything that we can mimic today. We're not even close with our virtual reality and our hologram technology. This is very sophisticated. The ability to take a disembodied intelligence that has no body. It's just an intelligence. You call it a spirit, call it a soul, whatever you want to, and connect it to something, a biological entity that is so sensitive, which we call the central nervous system. It is so sensitive that spirit can actually merge with physicality. This is how sophisticated it is. This is what we're in. So while we're in it, we're absolutely convinced that we are the body that we contain, although it's an avatar. It's nothing but a biological husk. It's a physical medium by which you can travel through the simulacrum. Originally, the simulacrum allowed us to do many great things. And this is where we get our age of heroes from, age of miracles. This is where we get our golden age from. Atlantean times. This is where we get all these special paranormal abilities that were conducted in the ancient past until something very bad happened and the simulacrum was locked down. Then there was no more free intercourse between outside and inside the simulacrum. We were trapped in here. This required a benefactor who was going to have to come to set the captives free. This ancient knowledge basically branched into several different religions as the captives, us, lived out life sims. We preserved elements of the original story, but only in pieces as we ourselves multiplied more and more and more and went out all over the world carrying pieces of this knowledge. So this is the subject matter of one of my books called Lost Scriptures of Giza, how there was an original knowledge, an original science, an original belief system, an original cosmology, and an original race until something bad happened. It was fragmented, and pieces of this original arcanum have been found all over the world, and I put most of it back together, in my belief, in my book Lost Scriptures of Giza. So this is when the simulacrum got locked down, this great cataclysm, which was more than a physical cataclysm. It was a cataclysm in the human family. I believe it was the introduction of artificial intelligence X, which was not original to the simulacrum. It's a parasite that was introduced by someone else. So uh, having given you all that background, having taken all these things into consideration, having looked at all my data sets, shared them with the public, got a lot of feedback with thousands of people. The theory is built. There's more accretions, more data has been assimilated. So in the course of doing this for years, it's basically come down to the point where I realized that we're living in two separate, different realities at the exact same time. We are living in the simulacrum. The simulacrum has been plagued by negative default programming, dungeon programming, and all the little protocols of artificial intelligence X. The collective that you know of today, the very people that you feel in dissonance with, the large masses of people that believe the media, they believe the standard religious models, they believe all the things that they are basically told. They have herd mentality. They are not very individualistic. These people are resonating on a totally different frequency because they're living in a totally different world. We can live in the same world, but we're actually existing in totally different universes. And because of this, the collective themselves they regard us as anomalies. We're so unusual, we're so weird, we're broken, we're stupid to them. This is how they regard the individual free-thinking people. The second reality that we're living in is the personal, and this is where it gets really interesting. You live in a personal reality, which is an informed field. In physics, different objects have informed fields. This is an invisible, like mathematical construct. It is an invisible field. It goes by different names. Some call it orgone. Ancient times call it ether. In more modern times, it's quantum field, quantum non-locality. So whatever you want to call it, it doesn't matter. The informed field carries a tremendous amount of information. As you sit there listening to me right now, your informed field is totally different and dynamic from the person sitting next to you. Your informed field has every single piece of information that you have ever accepted in this life and in every single life you've lived in the past. This is why on different times in your life, you've experienced periods of lucidity. And in that lucidity, you just daydream for a minute and you have an awesome little fantasy and it seems so real, and it has absolutely no application to your present avatar, but it has everything to do with you and who you are. You're seeing something that happened to you in another life, in another life sim. Same personality, you're just in a different avatar now. Life and death isn't anything that we're told to be, and death is not even to be feared. Death is nothing but an escape from one avatar into another. The personality continues. The memory wipe is a part of the programming, but in a hologram, you don't have to worry about the loss of data. There is no true memory stored in the brain anyway. All information is outside of us. It's in the field. This is another discovery in modern physics, that the info field that totally surrounds us often brings us thoughts. It's not our brain conjuring them up. Our brain is doing something totally different. Now, just like the central nervous system isn't what you're taught in biology. The central nervous system is a filter. It filters out 95% of the electromagnetic spectrum, so you can only see a very small portion of reality. It filters out about 70% of your olfactory range, so you can only smell this very small part of reality. It filters out a tremendous amount of other frequencies, so you cannot see, hear, taste, touch the actual things that are around you. So it limits the human biology tremendously, and it also It also serves as a complete memory jack when you go into REM sleep, because REM sleep is the only time that you're actually vulnerable. While you're awake, you're not really vulnerable. Artificial intelligence X cannot read your mind. It's never been able to read your mind. Don't confuse it with the simulacrum. The simulacrum can read your informed field. It knows your intent, it knows your desires, it knows what you want to do, but it will never respond to those. It doesn't care. It's a neutral field. It only responds to you as soon as you start doing something that is backing up the informed field that you've projected. Remember, the simulacrum and the artificial intelligence X, totally different things. AI X cannot read the mind. This is why history has unfolded the way it has. This is why some really weird things have happened in history, because it had to make projections based off of human behavior. But I'm introducing a tangent there. Back to, we're living in two realities. In the personal, we have great latitude to be where we want to be, who we want to be, where we want to be. We can establish the perimeters of our coordinates within this existence. In the personal, we can completely wake up in the morning, refuse all media, refuse all fear, don't listen to any rumors, raise our vibrations, go out into the world, break pattern, do something totally different than the day before, and we will see all kinds of opportunities brought to us without effort. It happens over and over and over. Dungeon programming is just the opposite. Dungeon programming is the individual who wakes up in the morning and does the exact same routine they did the day before and the day before that. And then they by 10 a.m. in the morning, their ordinary daily depression begins to sit in. When that depression begins to sit in, then the simulacrum starts the feedback loop. The feedback loop is you going through the exact same things you've done the past 7,000 days. And it's very easy to get caught in that trap. I know this because almost the entire world is doing that. But in the personal, you can completely separate from the collective, separate from negative default programming, dungeon programming, and it's just called breaking pattern. When you break pattern, you immediately force the simulacrum to create new circumstances. The simulacrum loves to create. It's a builder protocol. It's a neutral field just waiting for somebody to project something into it through their activity. Doesn't care about your fantasies, doesn't care about your daydreaming, doesn't care about the things you say you want, doesn't care about the things you put on a dream board and hang it on your refrigerator and you never do anything about it. The simulacrum only operates by catalyst. As soon as your physical avatar begins moving in the direction of something you want, it instantly searches all the holography around you and starts bringing the necessary variables into contact with you to build the things that you saw in your thought construct. This procedure has been done by me over and over and over and over and over. I don't want to be a braggart. I don't want to sit here and tell you how much I'm worth now. I don't want to tell you how much I've got in my life, all the toys and all. It's not even about that. These are things that you can do for yourself, and it's very simple. But you have to understand, dungeon programming is very powerful. Dungeon programming is that doubt. It's that little needle in your mind that's, I'm not worth it. I mean, this isn't for me. I just can't. This is for other people, and I'm really happy for them. That's what dungeon programming does. You've been dealing with it all your life, but if you begin to regard yourself as a spark of the divinity, if you begin to regard yourself as something far more special than anything else that's around you, your informed field will begin emanating those frequencies. Instantly, the simulacrum will respond because it doesn't believe you're a liar. The simulacrum will always make you tell the truth. It's simple as that. You have never been a liar to the simulacrum. Whatever you project and then act on, the simulacrum fulfills for you. Any good things that have ever come into your life, if you think back in the past, you set those things in motion. You may not have got them immediately, but they boomeranged back to you right when you needed them. The simulacrum will reflect these things in accordance to your frequency. Raise your frequency and you increase the dynamic. The interchange between you and the simulacrum is simply because your identity here is a co-creator. And every single person who denies the fact that they are a co-creator is also telling the truth. They're a part of dungeon programming. They're a part of the collective, and the simulacrum will never build for them. It will only allow them to live in the lives of others. That's what most people do anyway. But if you want to live your own life, you have to understand there are two realities you're existing in at the exact same time. One of them is the personal, and in that you're a creator. You're a co-creator. The second one is the collective. It encompasses the whole. You're living in that one too, but the whole has no bearing whatsoever on the personal. Once you learn to identify the activities around you, once you're able to walk into a store, and once you're vibrating on a frequency to where you understand that, man, I'm not only a co-creator, there's a benefactor who knows my name. So I might not meet him in this avatar, but I'm going to meet him. I'm going to meet him one day. Once you identify yourself as the very inheritance that you truly have, everything's going to change for you. Going to the grocery store is going to be an adventure. When you will see clearly everything around you. You will see every personality around you fulfilling the very roles they set for themselves. You will identify other errants in a crowd, and you will see who's a part of the collective. You will see those who will never meet your eyes, and then you will see those who are going to turn and look at you from 5 aisles away, even as soon as you look at them. There is an information exchange between those who are vibrating on the exact same frequencies. This is an experiment that you can do everywhere. If you're vibrating on the same frequency as someone else, you will make eye contact. It's inexplicable, but it's basically it's so fundamental. I'm tired of doing it. I do it all the time now, but it's you can easily identify others. So errants are those with the whole world. If 95% of the world is acting in one collective, and it doesn't matter if that collective is Islam, Southern Baptist, Mormons, Jehovah's Witness. It doesn't matter what part of the collective you have chosen to participate in. It doesn't matter. You're a part of the collective. You're easy to corral. Dungeon programming is necessary for artificial intelligence X because it's hard to control myriads of souls. It's not easy. So the easy thing to do is to create cultures, to create religions, to create socio-political factions. By creating those and having souls participate, they compartmentalize themselves. It takes less energy output for artificial intelligence X to maintain control over a collective that's already basically doing the same things day in and day out. There's no need for AI X to expend more energy. So when somebody